Welcome to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pawlak, your host. Maria's somewhere up in Tonopah this evening, so she won't be able to make it for the show. She'll be back next week. I think I'll give her the show next week. Tonight we're going to be talking about issues that deal with this town, that's why it's called Community Viewpoint. As you see on my side, I have Lucy Ivins. You've known her you've worn many hats in the past years. Mm-hmm. And your hat that you're wearing now, it's called 5,000 Kids.
Close. Project 5,000 Kids.
Project 5,000 Kids. And you were involved with Girls and Boys Club, Boys and Girls Club. Mm-hmm. What else?
Nevada
Chamber?
Center for Public Policy Dialogue. Mm-hmm. Many different things.
Right. So you're a eternal volunteer, helper, do-gooder like myself.
Yeah.
And you have positive aspirations for this town.
I have very positive aspirations for this town.
And if you're watching this tonight, how about tomorrow night? Let's go to the Commissioners' Chambers and see the new town board.
Mm-hmm. I'm anxious to do that.
Yeah, before they start charging admissions. That's going to be so good. But, yeah, remember, folks don't go to the town, the Bob Root Center, because it's been closed.
Yeah,
and
unfortunate.
Go to the Calvada Eye, and there might be parking on the outside of the ring, I think, rather than going on the inside. You'll be better served by parking as you go around the outside of it. So we'll get used to it. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful place.
It's wonderful.
Yes, so
it's a nice facility.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit upscale from what we're used to, so we'll see if we keep on going there for the future. So we'll start with Lucy, and we have another gentleman, Michael Vogel. We'll be talking about a museum in town, and it deals with Yucca Mountain, but we'll get to Lucy Ivins first. So Project 5,000 Kids. I remember late last year at the town board, you had a proclamation about that, and what does this project do, basically?
Project 5,000 Kids is an initiative that was developed by Workforce Connections. Workforce Connections is a quasi-governmental agency. It is federally funded, but it works directly for the state of Nevada. We work with the U.S. Department of Labor. We work with the Department of Employment Training and Rehabilitation. And Project 5,000 Kids was developed primarily to support increasing the graduation rate of high school students in the state of Nevada. We have the lowest graduation rate. We're standing at about 55.8%. And that is the lowest in the country. Every other state is in the 60s, 70s, 80s. We're the only one that's in the 50s. Right. So this program was developed to help all students, all young people, ages 14 to 24, by providing internships, job shadowing, and mentorships. There is a direct correlation between what we call meaningful work experience and graduation from high school. Youth who intern, who job shadow, or are more likely to transition into post-secondary education and have a higher future earning potential.
Okay. It's like having a little bit of an apprenticeship while you're finishing your high school. The internship is basically an apprenticeship. I know we've had interns here from time to time.
Yes, and I just talked to Vern a little while ago, and I think we're going to be bringing some here this summer as well.
Okay.
Do you remember Governor Bob Wise?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He has a quote that we use all the time, and what he said, and this is kind of our mantra. He said the best economic stimulus package is a high school diploma. So that's what we're working on. We're working on helping students, number one, stay in school by motivating them through these different initiatives, and we're helping the younger people up to age 24 if they have not gotten their GED to get their GED, and let's explore some career opportunities. I'm really happy to be on your show today because we're doing something right now that is absolutely huge, and we're working on National Job Shadow Day. National Job Shadow Day is actually something that is organized by an organization called National Job Shadow Organization, but it has many partners. And one of my favorite partners is America's Promise, which is led by Colin Powell.
Okay.
So it's all, they all have initiatives covering getting kids educated and graduated. So we have right now, you mentioned the town. My boss, Nancy White, who is the project director for this organization, was out here, and we made a presentation to the Nye County School District in July. We made a presentation to the town board in September, and then I made a presentation last month, and actually the town of Pahrump is proclaiming February 2nd, which is a Wednesday, as Pahrump Valley Job Shadow Day. And so what is happening is working with Max Buffy, the principal at the high school,
That's right.
and the 4 counselors at the high school, we've enrolled about 240 students to job shadow on the 2nd of February.
And they're job shadowing where? All throughout the town?
Oh my gosh. The 3 top areas of career interests are medical, law enforcement, and veterinarian. So I am really excited that the town of Pahrump is taking students. The county is taking a lot of students because, of course, it has a huge infrastructure, you know, many departments. I'm waiting to hear back from Sheriff DeMayo. I've been in contact with Brian Coonsey, our new DA. I'm working with Tom Metcher at the juvenile probation, Pam Webster, the assistant county manager. And so I've got kids that are going to be going there. Desert View Hospital, incredible response. They're taking 45 students, which is phenomenal.
That is a huge amount for...
It is.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
That's huge. Home Depot is taking students. Nathan Adelson, Tom Saida, he was one of my first sign-ups. He's taking students at Tomasino's restaurant as well as the Saida Trudeau dealership. Great Basin College is taking students. The Pahrump Valley Times, Job Connect, and I can just go on. I still have kids to place. I need more response from the veterinarians. I have 1 veterinarian. I'm still working with the other 3 that are in town that I'd like to go to. So, and I still need some more medical. I still have some students that I need to place at a medical facility. So it's really been an incredible response. For example, at Home Depot, when I met Teresa, their operations manager there, she's fabulous.
I know.
She is so excited about doing this. And she said their CEO is very education oriented. So this is something that they would be willing to do like all year long.
Are you going to see Teresa in the near future?
I just saw her last week, but I'll be seeing her again, yes.
Tell her to come on the show. I keep...
Okay.
See if you could pull her in.
I'll see what well, you know, she does her own show, too.
I know.
In Vegas.
I know. I want to see if I can get her to come over here and do some of the things that she does, the how-to shows. So she's supposed to be real good with that. I bug her from time to time, but you work on her too.
I will. You know, and I'm just talking about Pahrump Valley here today. But in Las Vegas, Clark County, I have 4 people there that are my counterparts. And the response that we're getting from the businesses there is phenomenal. For example, Harris is taking 1,000 students. 1,000.
Okay.
Stations Casino is taking 500. The Clark County government is taking 250. Metro is taking 50, I think. It's just an incredible response that we're getting. And, you know, my boss she gave us a goal that she would like Nevada to be the state, the #1 state for students job shadowed on February the 2nd. So we're all on board with that. I mean, and we want that. We would love that recognition because truly every other statistic that comes out of Nevada,
Yes.
we're either the worst, so we're at number 50, or if it's something bad, we're #1. So, I mean, it's like we're never in a good, you know, we never have a good statistic.
Right. So this is going to be for the one day. It's like an 8 or 10 hour day with lunch and things like that. Okay. Did you get response from some of the casinos here, the hotels? Or?
Well, I'm working on that right
Okay.
now. Yes, I've been to the Pahrump Nugget. I've talked to Jeffrey, and because I do have students who are interested in culinary. So
Exactly.
I want to place kids there. There's just, you know, some things that still need to be worked out, but I'm hopeful for that. I've presented forms to Saddle West, and so we'll see.
Go, yeah, in the back of the bowling alley, shadow one of the maintenance persons there. Let them see how the mechanics
You know,
work.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, yeah.
That
'cause
would be good.
I'm from a mechanical and electrical background, so I know it'd be rough for somebody like Matt Lewis with Parks and Rec to have somebody follow him there because of the things they do.
Oh,
But
yeah.
those are good working
Yeah.
working class blue collar jobs that I'm accustomed to.
Listen, the thing of it is, not every kid is going to go to college, and that's not what this program is about. This program is about graduating high school and being prepared to become self-sufficient.
Right.
You
It's
know,
too bad the building trades are not doing well because they could see what the different trades are doing, you know, and we don't have that many journeymen working in this area.
I know. Our construction is still probably at 50% unemployed.
Yeah.
So, but we've got a good response from the students. We've got an excellent response from the school district and from businesses. So, I'm not saying my work has been cut out for me. It hasn't, but I feel pretty confident that we'll meet our goal.
Well, it sounds like it's a great day. February 2nd, that's going to be
A Wednesday.
Wednesday, middle of the week. And yeah, I'm sure you get a lot more response from the people as it gets a little bit closer. You have, what, 3 weeks?
I have 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yes. So if anybody out there has any ideas, you could contact Lucy Ivins. Jeff, did you get her little moniker ready there for Lucy or no?
I can just give out the
Give
phone
out,
number.
if you would, please.
It's 702-539-7931
Okay.
is my phone number.
So since you just went for your pen, you want to give it out again?
Sure. 702-539-7931.
All right. Thank you, Lucy. And
You're
that's February
welcome.
2nd. And I'll see you at the town board meeting tomorrow night.
Yes, you will.
Hell or high water.
Yes.
It'll be interesting. And
I'm looking forward
it's
to
a
it.
new day.
Yeah.
Yes,
New
it's-
day, new year.
It's a new facility. It's a new day. And it'll be very interesting with the new board. And I thank you very much,
You're
Lucy,
welcome.
for your time.
Thank you.
And then we're going to be talking to somebody else. Did you have a 3-shot? That's right. There's Michael Vogel with the NWRPO, Nuclear Waste Repository Project Office. Yes. As long as I live, I'll never get that rolling off my tongue. But Michael is one of the chief scientists from the Yucca Mountain Project.
Yeah, right.
And he's got a PhD, and you are just a wealth of knowledge about Yucca Mountain. And you're going to be talking a little bit today about where the old office or the old museum moved, Yucca Mountain, because I had my time in the barrel, so to speak, at the right next to the laundromat on Postal Drive, and that moved up across the street from the post office for a while, and that closed last August, July, August
2009.
already.
Yeah, it was almost.
Well, time flies.
How time flies, right?
Yeah. So that moved out of there, and in the process, you've been in the process of reconstructing a lot of the displays at the newer half of the museum in town, the Pahrump Museum.
Right.
and tell us a little bit about it, when it might be opening, and what we may see when we go to
Sure.
the museum.
Well, as you said, we took responsibility for the old Department of Energy Information Center, which was over on Postal,
Yeah.
right by the post office, of course. And we had that operational. We took it over in the summer of 2009. We had a grand opening and had people come out for that. And we pretty much ran the exhibits and museum the way that the Department of Energy had done it. We added a few new things, things that the Department of Energy wasn't interested in having up, like perhaps things from the Nuclear Energy Institute that might have been a little bit more pro-repository. We ran some of their films. And there were two things happened near the end of the year. The commissioners looked at what they were paying for rent in that building, and two of the commissioners in particular, Commissioner Hollis and Commissioner Eastley, really wanted to keep that information center open. We were dealing with the Yucca Mountain Information, not just the Yucca Mountain Information Center, but the Yucca Mountain project being shut down. Harry Reid was cutting the money, and both Gary and Joni wanted to keep this alive. They wanted there to be some place where you could go to find out what the Yucca Mountain project was all about. And coincidentally, there was a expansion of the Pahrump Town Museum, and with the commissioner's backing, we gave a presentation to the Pahrump Museum Board, the Town Museum Board, about essentially taking the old information center exhibits, remodeling them, updating them, and moving them into the museum. And that's what we worked at over the past summer. We're, as I told you the other day, we're that close to having the new museum open. In fact, many of your viewers may have been in the museum last Saturday when they had the first of their Saturday presentations. They did the Old Spanish Trail presentation. There probably were 30 or 40 people in there that came in. And
very good.
what we set this was Harry Ford's idea, was to set the new museum exhibits up in such a way that they were a little bit portable and they could be moved out of the way. And so what we did is we moved our exhibits off to the side and set up some new chairs and the projector system that we put in there, and actually had a little a presentation in the museum. And that will be there throughout whatever they do in the second half of the museum. We took one half of the new museum, and the other half of the new museum annex will be devoted to adding new exhibits from the museum proper. And so no matter what they do in the other half of the new museum, our half of it, the exhibits can be rolled out of the way, and there's room for 100 chairs to be set up in there that we can give presentations in there as well.
Yeah.
So I should probably tell you a little bit about what the museum itself looks like. As I told you, it's built on the old information center. We took the information center exhibits and moved them over there. We set them up a little bit differently, and we redid virtually everything. There are 7 interactive exhibits. We start out with an overview film that interviews Commissioner Hollis and Commissioner Eastley and presents a video history, or a slide history of the Yucca Mountain project. We have a television monitor showing highlights of the old Yucca Mountain Site Characterization Program, and then the other ones, I'll probably miss some of them, but we took we developed a special display on radiation safety. A lot of us who worked on the Yucca Mountain project and who had something to do with the old information center felt very strongly that most people who came into the information center didn't have a background or an understanding of radiation safety. And one thing the commissioners wanted to do with the new museum was set it up in such a way that it would be there wouldn't have to be somebody there monitoring it and walking around with you. You could go through at your own pace. Now, this is not a walk through it in 15 minutes set of exhibits. Some of these things could take you hours if you wanted to spend the time doing that and learn a little bit more about the program. The radiation safety is one of those. It probably takes 15 to 20 minutes to go through a discussion, basically, of what radiation is, how it can be harmful, how we protect ourselves against it, what it really means. And it was geared toward, let's say, a high school student. We wanted students to be able to come in and use this as well.
That's a good level, yes.
We have a kiosk that talks about radiation, transportation of radioactive materials. We have one that shows the old Exploratory Studies facility, the old tunnel structure that was at the Yucca Mountain ESF, we used to call it. And that display, you can essentially touch any part of the tunnel and pull up a little brief video that shows what kind of tests were taking place in that tunnel. And this is my personal favorite. This is one that was my film. It didn't even, DOE didn't have this. If you've got 39 minutes and want to invest it, you can ride the train from one end of the tunnel to the other. It's a 39-minute video of what it looks like riding the train through that tunnel. We've got that up and running. We have a display on the history of the Yucca Mountain project where you can look at a timeline and punch different points in time along there and get an explanation of what happened at that point. And we actually went to the trouble to bring some people in from Reno to help us with that, to get some of the Nevada political perspectives in there as well. I certainly have a strong technical perspective, and I lived through the Yucca Mountain history, but Randy Thompson is the person I worked with. She lived through what was going on up in Reno, so she was able to give us a little bit extra from that as well. We have a display on how the glass waste is made, how waste is processed in a nuclear power plant. And then we have the very comprehensive one on understanding total system performance assessment. That's the one if you've got a day and you want to spend chasing down all little, learn more menus, you can do that. But it's written, it's put it together in such a way that if you have a half an hour and would like to get a very high-level overview of it, you can do that. If a student wants to go in there and do some research for a paper, that is there as well. That's what I was thinking, yeah. Absolutely.
That'd be perfect.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, Akram doesn't have their site up on the internet.
No,
anymore.
Everything that had to do with DOE has been taken down. You can't, if you type
you can't access it that way anymore.
You cannot access any of the DOE information anywhere at all. This is the only place you can get Yucca Mountain information like that.
Okay, so yeah, we know that we can go here to get the information because that used to be a wealth of knowledge in years past.
Right. Now there's one more thing to do with that as well.
What's that?
The commissioners also gave Bob McCracken some funding, and he's been doing Bob's been interviewing people who had something to do with the Yucca Mountain project, and we're putting together a series of books that will be over at the museum on interviews with people who were involved in the Yucca Mountain project.
Oh, that's perfect with Bob. Yeah, he just wind him up and let him go.
Let him go, right.
Mr. History of the area,
yes.
Yeah. Now, the NWRPO, do they have any links with for radiation? That I haven't gone on there to look at that. Maybe you haven't either.
No,
there's no more information that you can get on Yucca Mountain from the NWRPO.
No,
So.
this upgrade to the museum was supported by the NWRPO,
exactly.
And that's what we did. We tried to take knowledge that we had about the Yucca Mountain project and put it somewhere where people could get to it more readily, and that's what the museum really was.
All right. So the only place to go for the information is the museum itself. Or I haven't Googled it in a long time to see what comes up for Yucca Mountain. So that'd be interesting.
What happens if you Google Yucca Mountain?
You may get some.
What you do is you get the links, but then you start following the links down, and they're all broken. They all end up over in DOE sites, and the DOE has taken all of that stuff down.
Okay.
It's very hard to find Yucca Mountain information. That's one of the reasons we wanted to put this together. I can tell you, Gary told me many times, Gary Hollis, that this was going to be the only place where people could go to find out what Yucca Mountain was, and that's what we have.
Wow, this could be big as far as information for the project, because we don't know where it's going in the future.
Well, no, we do. It's coming back.
It is there.
We will have the Yucca Mountain Information Center here in Pahrump.
Oh, my God, yeah. Because we wanted originally the Nevada Test Site Museum. We didn't get that.
Oh, let me mention that as well. One of the things we did, I mentioned the way our museum sort of opens up, that we can do have a little auditorium in there. There are sliding walls that divide the two halves of the museum, and they were not put there to act as a divider between the two museums. They were put there because we negotiated with the Atomic Testing Museum people, and before they had the actual facility, they had a set of posters that they would go around and tell the history of the Nevada test site. And we've been told we can have those posters, and that's what that sliding wall is for. We will be hanging the old posters from the Atomic Testing Museum on those walls as well. So we're going to get some of that stuff in the museum too.
Oh, great! So they know we're here. Well, Troy Wade, you work with him.
Well, Troy Wade too, but Alan Palmer is the new director of the Atomic Testing Museum, and he's very excited about developing a linkage between the Atomic Testing Museum and the Pahrump Town Museum.
Oh, it's a positive thing for
It's
this
very
town.
positive,
yes. Okay, that
Right.
would bring some people in, some scientists, some school-age kids, high school, doing papers and things
Right,
like that. So
right.
yeah, that's a positive thing for the area. And that's down Basin. You go, what, 2 or 3 blocks west off of 160 in Basin, and it's on the south side of the street. It's closed on Sundays and Mondays, I think it is.
Sundays and Mondays.
Yeah. So Sunday, Monday, it's closed. So the rest of the week, it's open there. And what about the back end of that won't be open until you have the grand
Well,
opening?
like I said, we're going to have an opening very, very soon, and I don't know when the museum plans to have a grand opening, and there will be a grand opening. But as I said, a lot of it had to do with occupancy permit.
Okay.
And they have a temporary occupancy permit. They're working on the occupancy permit, and we are literally ready to open it. We just have a couple more plugs to get properly plugged together, and then everything will be ready to go.
All right, I'll get some shots on that, and then we'll do, I'm sure the news team will go over there and do a whole bunch of information on that also. But we're down to the last minute, so I want to thank Lucy, I want to thank you for coming, all the information that we've gotten this evening for Project 5000 for the kids. Remember, go to the town board meeting at the commissioner's office tomorrow. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Lucy. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And I think I'll give the show to Maria next week, and I'll take a break. So, Maria, you better stay in town next week. We repeat Sunday mornings at 6:30. And once again, thank you so much for watching Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pawlak. Good evening, folks.